Hey guys, Christopher here, and welcome to day 4 of Pyxel Dailies. I've done quite a few in a row all at once because I'm actually catching up. I'm sure there'll be plenty of times throughout the year where I'll have to do this, so that's why there's a bunch coming out. Today's theme is Explorer, so let's get stuck into that. Let's go 64 by 48. 48, no, let's go 96 by 48. Yeah, cool. Let's do something like that. So hopefully I'm not being too ambitious here, and I can actually do this in the allocated time. So let's get stuck straight in. Some blue. Yeah, let's walk with a blue background. Off to the side, as reference material, I've actually got some just paintings of landscapes and stuff, just to sort of keep myself in the zone. I find it helps. So don't be afraid to, before you draw anything, usually actually I will always go and source some reference material. This pretty much never ends. Even people I know that are professional artists full-time, they will always go reference a bunch of stuff before they actually start. It just helps to inspire you. It helps to inspire you, plus also look at other people's artists' techniques and stuff like how did they do that and whatnot. So you learn to sort of gauge how you should be going about things. So yeah, it is nice. And as a fun little fact, the reference material that I've got to the side is actually paintings by Bob Ross, the man, the legend. If you don't know who Bob Ross is, you need to immediately stop my video because it's less interesting, and then go and YouTube Bob Ross. He's an amazing landscape painter, and also probably one of the most hilarious people that ever lived. So let's, obviously I'm doing some mountains here. I'm trying to highlight them in now. Now obviously the Bob Ross techniques are slightly applicable, but not as much as I would like. A lot of his techniques involve actually smearing the paint on the palette and blending together using dry brushing techniques and stuff. So yeah, it's not as applicable here, but fun nonetheless. So what do we got here? All right, making pretty decent time. Alright, so starting to look pretty mountainy. Not too bad. Alright. Before I fill that in, I want to actually claim these for the darker spots. Looks a little bit more rocky. So that's not too bad. In fact, I think this is the first actual landscape video that I've ever done on this channel, so that's pretty fun. So what do we got here? Alright, I've made the mistake of working on one layer. That's a bit annoying, but we'll work around it in the moment, I guess. Let's make it a bit lighter. Across here. Oh, that's very close to that. That's a bit of a problem. So let's change this sky color dramatically so that nothing works. Oh, probably too bright now. So let's go a bit lighter. That's looking pretty good. Oh, still clashes with it. Maybe we'll sit with the lighter color and be done with it. Alright, so that's something obviously like it's a trouble area because it's clashing with other colors and whatnot. So that's something that you do sit out in there and you kind of like actually problem solve that out by finding good colors. With pixel art, it's always nice to have everything be related in the color spectrum, so that all your colors are sort of spur from the same sort of palette. Your color ramps are nice, so your blues are related to your greens and everything like that. It does help, but it's also something that is like something that takes a bit of work. And usually, you spend some time just on your palette, so you decide exactly what your colors are going to be, and then you kind of work from there. I just don't have time in these, to be honest. There seems to be a mix of opinions. That people want me to go into more detail, and then people want me to also speed the videos up. And I agree. Like, I just kind of go off what I personally think makes a good tutorial video, or just YouTube video in general. When stuff is too long, over 10 minutes, it's not something I usually watch. So that's what I'm trying to avoid mostly when I'm doing these. Now, again, if I was smarter about this, I would have done it on a different layer. But I'm kind of just going with my mistake now and just committing to the single layer. So that's not too bad so far. Blocked in some green there, so that's pretty good. Now what we need is definitely to start sort of putting some trees in there. Or as Bob Ross would call them, happy little trees. So let's put a tree there. Let's put another one there. Let's put a big one here. So the theme is also Explorer as well, so I have to cover that ground at some point as well. Actually, let's just put a trunk right there. Block that right out. So there's something very much in the foreground. I'll even thin that back a bit. Okay, that's pretty good. One coming through here. Okay. So let's add a bit of reflection in the water here. This looks pretty good. And then don't forget, it's got this one off to the side here as well. Now, I know I've showed a nice way to do reflections in the past. It's a little bit harder to do it in Pyxel Edit. It's still very doable. But for this, I'm just going with the manual way of just kind of like just punching them in there and working with that. So and there's a tree. This tree, what are we at? 7 minutes, 30 seconds. So this one is going to be tight. Filling in some nice large bush there. Actually, I might go grab this straight away. Oh, actually, let's finish the other side first. So just basically blocking colors in still. As I think I said in one of the more recent videos, you always want to start with your biggest details and then work your way in from there. So don't get caught up on details immediately, because things might change. You might like something, so you want to change it completely. You want to pull something out. It does happen a lot. So a little bit of grass there. A few small details. Take those out. All right, so let's go here, and then let's go a bit darker than that. And I'm blocking a bit more here, as if there's more of these trees about. And just creates that impression. So when I was studying music, I learned about this interesting concept called Gestalt grouping principles. So, and what that means is that when your eye looks at stuff, it basically groups things very quickly. So that's why you can look at a picture of a forest, and you don't need to look at every single tree to understand that that's a big group of trees. Like your eye and brain both work together and go, that's a group of trees. I don't need to look at all of them. And so that's what you use in painting when you do this sort of thing, is you just create the impression that there's more trees, and people don't need to look at every single one. Their eye just goes, that's a group of trees. That's the way that your brain is designed to work. Okay, so finally, let's move on to some highlights in here. That looks pretty good. Okay, this definitely needs some separation. Alright. Not too bad. Again, just working quickly. This is definitely something I should cover in more detail as well, is doing foliage. I don't think I've done a video on that. I should definitely do one. Because this is a very like sped up way, the way that I'm working now. I'm mostly just trying to get this video done in time, but you can spend a lot of time on foliage, and I usually do actually, because it's very rewarding. It looks very nice. So just darkening those up, create a bit more separation. That looks pretty good. So let's do the same for the other side here. Create a bit of separation in there. Turn these different layers. It's also nice when you take the time to do, I guess, like a way more detailed tree. This is a very approximation of all the shapes and leaves that are going on. But when you do like shrubs and stuff like that, a bit more closer up, like say the style of Zelda, like is a very good example. The trees and stuff in that look really nice. Yeah, you can sort of paint in the actual leaves and stuff like that, and it creates a nice effect. Okay, so what are we at? Oh, 12 minutes. Okay, so this is going to be a longer one, unfortunately. I will actually grab a new layer now, and we'll do our person quickly. So let's work with brown. Exciting brown. Okay, let's put them here, I guess. Might give them a cloak of sorts. Okay. Alright, I'm noting this for the future. Anything that has a background is definitely always going to take longer, so I think that's part of it. But I think this is a half decent one to spend a bit more time on, so hopefully you feel the same. So now I know that that's not the best spot. Ooh. Yeah, maybe there. Okay, so let's grab that cloak. Classic red. Nothing like a good red cloak. Alright, I need flesh tones. And we'll outline that. Okay, and his elbow isn't bending the right way, so we need to do that. And then bring that back. Okay. Oh, I can't believe I didn't think of this. Let's just make him a wizard, because I think you know why. Guess he'll be like a fire mage of sorts. I don't think I ever need to explain myself when I say I'm creating a wizard, and I need to change his hair to grey because he's a wizard. What have we got here? Let's separate this out a bit more. It's a half decent shape. Get that out of his face though. There we go. It's not looking too bad. Okay, so he needs a bit of highlighting in his cloak for sure. So let's go in here. Alright. Not too bad. Okay. It's pretty good there. So now I definitely need some highlights in there as well. Let's just get that red. Oh, probably not strong enough actually. Let's go there. Highlight up this hat. We are at 15 minutes. Okay. Alright, not too bad. I'm gonna actually cover those creases a bit more. I feel a bit more natural. Okay, not too bad. I'm having a problem with this sleeve and the wood, obviously. It's a bit too close together, so let's give it a muted blue for his sleeve. Oh no, it's a bad idea, there's blue behind it. Let's just go a different sort of brown then. Yeah, okay, doesn't look too bad. Alright, we need to give him something on his staff. Can't just be walking around with a plain old staff. He's a grand wizard and he's exploring. He would take his best exploring staff with him. And that would look something like this, I guess. Cool. Too bad. Okay. Let's give a bit of a darkness to this as well. I think I might actually maybe give him longer hair. I might actually get rid of this flesh here as well. Oh. Nah, it gives it a nice angle. Okay. Again, always playing with things. So, as you can tell, these videos will constantly be sort of like a live sort of feel. So, I will make plenty of mistakes and change my mind in things plenty of times. And that's, you know, definitely showcasing exactly how I really work. Because I change my mind a lot when I work. Okay, a bit of a crystal there. Now his staff needs definitely some highlighting. Okay, pretty good so far. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, I guess just playing with his hair there. Okay, so that's not too bad. Definitely need some more detail and interest around these sort of points here. They're very basic. Not only that, they're not separated from the water enough. You want to create like a nice... Yeah, you can see how that's really starting to separate the water from the grass. Otherwise it just looks like, when the colors just end one block into another, it's not very exciting. So that's giving that a nice outline. In pixel art, if something's ever getting lost in another thing as well, always remember the outline. It's pretty key. Like, it's a key technique to creating that strong separation. All right. Some more grass and stuff over here. Okay, so these trunks haven't been detailed at all, so we'll do that now. Blocking in some more color there. Okay. Blocking a bit more color on this one. Oh, I've started working on the other layer. So if you ever do this, like me, and you're an idiot, you just Control X, you go back to the other layer, paste down, go back to this one. and then paste that down as well. So there we go. Okay, looking pretty good. The one thing I would fix as a final thing is definitely this sky. It's too plain. So let's do this. And fill that in. And then we'll see if we can go brighter again, and then also transition down into a green then. Don't know how this is look. I'm just kind of guessing at what palette it's going to end up at this point, so it's not too bad. Let's use this technique. Okay. Maybe one more across there. Oh, there. There we go. And then this needs to be right into the yellow. Yeah, that's looking good. So it kind of creates the illusion that there's a sun rising, I guess, behind there, or setting. Should probably take the time to go in between those as well. I'll actually get rid of that. Let's just do the same technique we did back here. Blend it with a little bit of these bands going across here. One more there. There we go. 22 minutes. Okay, there we go. Let's call it there. So that was a bit of a longer one, so I'm sorry about that. But some things are, I guess, you know, unavoidably got to spend more time on. If I was doing this myself as well, like just creating this just for my own concept art, I would spend a lot more time than this on it as well. Probably about, at least I would say 3 times the amount of time here. So at least an hour, probably longer. So that's something to keep in mind. Thanks for this, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.